In these next examples, we're not only going to find the greatest common number that will factor into each term, we also want to see if there are any variables or variables with exponents that could also be factored out. In this first example, we have x squared plus 3x. Now, because this is technically a 1, I can't divide 1 besides anything than 1. So, there's no number that can come out of it. However, we can see that there are an x squared and an x in both of these terms. So because this x here only has 1, that has an exponent of 1 if there's nothing there, the most I can take away from this is x to the first power, which is just x. So if I take x to the first power, or just x, out as the GCF, what's left over is, if you're taking away one of these exponents, this is going to reduce down to a 1. So that's x to the first power, which is just x. And in this one, if you have x to the first over x to the first, they both get taken, well, it gets taken out. So that leaves you with just the plus 3. So then the factor is x times x plus 3. Right, then the second one, now we have some numbers we can work with here. So I can divide this by 2, and I can divide 6 by 2. And since these both have a term with an x, I can take out one of them, because that's the most that I can take away from this one, is just x to the first power. So both of these can take out an x as well. That's our GCF. So that comes out in front. And what's left over comes down. So again, this is x to the first power, so one of these will be removed. So we're left with 2 over 2 is 1, and we only have x, one of the x's we took out, one of them stays. Then we have 6 divided by 2 is 3, and x to the first over x to the first, they both will be canceled. So 2x times x plus 3 are the factors there. All right, then what is the GCF of this third one? Well, I can divide 21, 9, and 18 by 3. I don't think there's anything larger. And since they all have an x term, and the lowest one is a 1, that's the most I can take out, is an x to the first power. So, there's our GCF, is 3x. And what's left over comes down. So this was x to the first, so one of these gets taken away, becomes a 2. So 21 divided by 3 is 7, and we have x to the second power remaining. Then 9 divided by 3 is 3. Again, we had an x to the first power, so that's going to take away 1. So that's just x to the first power remaining. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. X to the first over x to the first is eliminated. You try this last one.